So for those of you kind of watching, Derek and I set a pretty lofty goal for ourselves. Not going to talk about the numbers, but we basically are leveling up in the next couple months, and we set the bar very, very high. So we're hitting the whole biz dev thing super hard. We had a nice summer. Agency's doing really well, but as it's kind of getting a little bit colder here, we're doing less stuff outside. We're kind of getting checked backed in, and spending a lot more time on our biz dev, kind of refocusing, just because when it gets cold, you want to be at the office, you want to be inside, you want to be doing work. So we're making it count. But for those of you that are jumping on, welcome. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to ask us any questions that you have. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and jump into the questions that came throughout the week. And massive props to some of the people this week that were going out there getting clients during the pot. It was awesome to see some of the wins in the inner circle this week. So if you're watching and you had some wins to share, definitely let us know, and we'll give snaps. So anything you want to jump in on, Derek?
No, I just definitely agree with Dave. Like, we're just pushing hard on getting new business in the door. I was up pretty late last night sending out messages this morning. We've got email sequences going out, LinkedIn messages going out, personal emails. I've got 3 appointments here from noon to 3 set up with prospective clients. So yeah, hoping to close at least one of them out of this afternoon, and stack up next week with meetings. So that's the goal, is to just have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, have prospects, conversations happening, and just give us more at-bats at opportunities here.
100%. And, if you guys hadn't seen it yet, we added a new lecture in the course on software called Apollo that we've been seeing great success with. So just to give you guys some understanding of like what Derek and I are doing right now, like we're running an agency, we're extremely busy. So we're pretty light on the cold calling, but we are, putting together kind of some cold calling touch points that's going to happen, for certain high target client prospects that we really want to get in touch with if we haven't heard back from them. But like Derek said, we've got both of our LinkedIn profiles going. We've got VAs helping us with that, supporting us, on kind of getting that, going. So the connection requests going out, follow-ups and stuff like that. And then we're leveraging Apollo as well. And I set up a 6 touch point email sequence that goes out. And so there's an initial, 3 days later, another one, 3 days later, another one, 3 days later, another one. The first 3 all have the same subject line, and it's just read below and just kind of follow-ups like, hey, making sure you saw it. And then the other ones are variants on top of that. So we've got 2 different LinkedIn profiles. We've got cold calling. We've got a very aggressive email sequence going out through Apollo. Just to give you guys some idea of what we're talking about when we say that we're, putting the pedal down. It's a lot of activity. There's, a minimum 75 to 100 emails going out every single day that are net new. And then there's follow-ups for each of those as well. So there's hundreds of emails being sent every day, plus all the activity on LinkedIn. And, that's how we get 3 meetings in an afternoon, right? So if you guys want results like that, do what we're doing.
Definitely. Just to jump in, like David mentioned in the beginning, you can definitely leave your questions down below and we'll hit those up. But just scrolling through the feed here, Carlos, he said, hey group, I'm supposed to have my first client meeting with a local brewery and pub. I sent an email yesterday. He responded a few hours later, and we set a meeting for 2 p.m. Then as I called in at 1:55, an automated message gave me a choice of calling the pub number or leaving a message. I just called the pub, and he told me to email the owner after explaining that we had a meeting set up. Sounds like there's just a bit of a disconnect getting him on the phone. So he said he called the original number, left a message asking if he can give his number. What should I do from here? Is it a lost cause? I would say definitely not. I mean, it's just a disconnect. So I think how you could combat this in the future is right away when you set that meeting, make sure that you're asking for a direct line or a phone number. It sounds like that was left up to interpretation and a little bit of a limbo period. So if you set that meeting, say, perfect, what's your email? There's 2 questions you need to ask them, 3 actually. What's your email, the best line to reach you at, and what day time? So sounds like you set up the day and time. You might have gotten his email. I'm not sure. It doesn't, I mean, you guys were emailing, obviously you have it, but to send them the calendar invite with that email, that'll put it on their calendar. They know they're responsible to talk to you at that time.
Yep.
And then make sure you confirm, is this going to be a video chat? Is this going to be a phone conversation?
Yep.
If it's a video chat, you need to send them a Google link. It's free. Most iCals will auto-populate it for you. If you don't have it, just go to googlemeet.com or google.com/meet, set up a free meeting link, add that in the invite. And if it's a phone conversation, you definitely want to make sure you get the guy's cell phone or his direct dial to his office. Otherwise, you're going to run into what just happened. You call up the place. They have no idea where he is, what he's doing, and he thinks you blew off the meeting or something. So it's definitely not a lost cause. I would 100% email him back and say, hey, I gave the pub a ring just before 2. They didn't know where you were. I think we might have disconnected on the phone. So what's the best line I can reach you at, and when can we reschedule this?
Yep.
Once he gives you the best line and he gives you a date, make sure you go into your calendar, Gmail, whatever it is, click on calendar, create an event that's 45 minutes long, and then put, meeting with Carlos over the phone, marketing, send it to him so that he'll get a notification when that meeting comes up. Because business owners, they're busy. He's not going to be sitting around waiting for you. He's got stuff to do. So make sure you get that phone number, make sure you get the email if you don't have it, and 100% send them a calendar invite if you're going to have a meeting. Because otherwise, to me and David and most other business owners out there, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So get it on their calendar. And if you have any questions about how to do that, it's a simple Google search, but if you want me to show you how we do it, how we set it up, happy to show you how to do that too.
Yeah, and that really formalizes the whole thing, and you're going to look a lot more professional when you send that. It almost looks unprofessional to not send it, right? Like,
right.
If Derek and I meet somebody in person and they're like, yeah, let's, like we go to an on-site meeting, right? Or we're going door to door, right? And somebody says, I'm busy right now, but stop by at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. If we don't send that invite for 3 p.m. Wednesday, they're going to think that we don't know what we're doing, and same goes for me. Like if I meet somebody and they are trying to sell me something and they don't put the event on the calendar, it seems like they, really don't care that much, or they aren't really organized, and that can, come off as unprofessional. So, if you haven't sent calendar invites before, like it's always better to send one and have them, not accept it or, whatever, than to not send one. So just send the invite, get it on the calendar, and then, 100% follow up with that guy. Hey, we missed each other, spoke with your admin. They said they didn't know when you're available. How's 4 p.m., same time this week look, or same time Thursday, whatever, and go for that assumptive. And for those of you watching too, like always, if you have a meeting, get the next invite on the calendar too. Like get that next meeting, always go for that assumptive, next meeting. If you have a proposal review and they want to think about it, get a meeting on the calendar to sync up and go over any questions they have. Like always be putting that next step meeting on the calendar.
Yep, definitely.
Looks like Mitchell asked, is there any good ways to practice Facebook ads or get experience, or would it be a good idea to go get an internship somewhere to get some experience? Derek, do you want to jump in on this one?
To practice. So if you want to feel confident before you go to a business owner, this is what I did. I basically went to a local salon and said, hey, sounds like you guys just opened up. I've got an idea to do a giveaway. All you have to do is give me $50 to run the ads. I'll set up the giveaway, run the email campaign. All you have to do is just pay for the ad spend and I'll run it for free. I just literally wanted to do that just so I, kind of knew what I was talking about when I got on the phone with these other guys. Ran the campaign, went through the process of, like the things we talk about in the course. getting their business manager set up, access to their Facebook account, just going through those motions. So I had a process in place. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to go as far as like getting an internship. It's definitely not going to hurt, but you're going to end up doing probably a lot more work and spending a lot of time doing it that way. Yeah, if you just want to get an ad experience under your belt, either just pay $50 to the platform to run ads for your own business, target local business owners, offer like a free marketing consultation if they click to sign up, and then go through the motions that way. Otherwise, we don't really recommend like free trials, but if it's different for everybody, if you feel like you need the confidence to go and run ads, just reach out to a local barbershop, auto mechanic place, whatever, and just say, hey, I've been, testing these models and practices with my group. I've been learning a lot, and I think I can do a really good job. I just need to use you guys as a case study. You don't have to pay me. That's a way that you can get some experience under your belt. But at the end of the day, like owning and operating a business, it's about putting yourself in uncomfortable situations before you have it all figured out. So I don't want you to feel like, because then you're just going to go down the rabbit hole of trial after trial after trial, doing free work. Really it's going to be a sink or swim effort. So go out there, get a client, make it happen, have the pressure of having to deliver, and then figure it out. Start running ads. You're only going to help the business. You're not going to hurt them. You're not going to ruin their business overnight over a couple $100 Facebook campaign. You're only going to get more exposure for them, and you're going to make yourself more experienced. So I would just get out there, start making it happen. If you have to, go out and offer your services for free just to give yourself a little bit more confidence. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to make you confident is experience, and you just got to go out there and make it happen.
Yeah. And I mean, to give you guys some perspective too, like we got our first client at, almost $3,000 a month, and didn't really have any formal ad training. We wanted it. Once we started selling a lot of clients, we allocated budget specifically to get a great Facebook ad course if one existed, and we just couldn't find one. And then we got really good at ads, mainly Derek got really good at ads, so good at ads, in fact, that we decided to create our own course. Now you have that course. That's the blueprint, right? And that Facebook ad training, is your blueprint for when, for what you need to do. And if you bump into challenges, that's what the inner circle's for too. Like, just let us know. We'll get you organized. We'll get, you through the challenge of that first ad campaign, and then you'll have that confidence. But like Derek said, if you need to do a kind of a trial, just go into like a local business Facebook group, say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to, test my skills with, I'm looking to, run a quick campaign, totally free, who's looking for help with Facebook ads, and then do that test campaign, and then get the experience, get a logo for your website, and then go start charging money for it.
Daniel said, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Just had a thought and wanted to throw this out there to the community. Is everybody here working independently, or anyone as a partnership? Would be interested to know. I mean, obviously Dave and I, we have a partnership. You don't need to have a partnership, but if you are going to have a partnership, it's always good to find someone that has contrasting strengths to yours, or similar ones as well. It definitely helps, but just to be on the same page with somebody that you can trust and work with. Looks like Roy said he's working with two. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be a partnership that's shared revenue-wise within your business. Like, you can have agency partners that you guys share clients. Like, you're not necessarily co-founders together, but they get a client and they white label their services to you, things like that. So there's a lot of different ways to have partnerships. They're definitely beneficial for experience, revenue, and just overall scaling. So I would definitely encourage it, but just be careful that you're actually working with the right type of partner. Use your gut. Don't box yourself in, and make adjustments if you have to.
Yeah, and something I've seen too is, a lot of people, like Derek and I, we're friends before we were ever business partners, but we were always creating things together. Like, our friendship is very much predicated on like creating and just like working on things together. We played in bands, and we, worked in like recording studios together and stuff. And it was always kind of this work relationship between us where we had the same level of hustle. And I've talked to like a lot of people just through like my Insta and like different live chats and stuff like that. And I think something that people bump into is they start a business with a friend who, you know, seems to kind of share the vision, but for whatever reason, you know, kind of fizzles out. They don't have like that burning desire like the other partner does. And it can almost be a hindrance to progress. So like Derek said, like make sure that it's a partnership first, you know, and that you guys can really count on each other. And there's kind of a proven track record there of like doing what you say you're going to do. Like if your friend's a flake and he wants to start a business with you, maybe think twice. But if they're somebody who's consistent, you know, they work hard, like they're out there pounding the pavement and hustling just as hard as you are in their life, then that could be a very fruitful relationship. And that's why Derek and I have been so successful. It's because we can both trust each other to handle the things that we need to handle, and we're twice as productive in that way, right? So totally up to you and your situation, and, you know, just think over that decision very, very, you know, hard, because it's easy to jump into a partnership with somebody and it's very hard to get out of one.
Yep. Thomas, just want to give him a shout out. Bordis, he said, so after a few hours of listening to voicemails all day long, I had a fitness studio call me back and was able to set my first meeting for this Thursday. So boom, nice work.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that happens so often where you're just like making calls, nothing's happening. And then you keep pushing 5 to 10 more and then boom, something pops up.
Yep.
So congrats on that, man. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, and it's always at the last call too. It's always that when you just all day, nothing good happens, and then you make one more dial and boom, you get the meeting. So way to push through. So Jim, I hope I'm saying that correctly, asked about D7 Lead Finder. I checked it out. It looks pretty good. Looks similar in a lot of ways to Apollo, with, you know, kind of a dialed back functionality. So I would definitely, you know, take a look at that, guys. I haven't had a chance to test it myself, but it looked like a good, you know, potential option for local businesses specifically. It looked pretty good. So definitely check that out. And Jim, curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, one other thing that Thomas said that I think is important to echo is just that he was wondering how you structure your transitions from a cold call to an actual meeting, as in, like, do you normally make a cold call to set the discovery meeting, or is that discovery meeting baked in with the cold call and straight into the client meeting guide, things like that? It's just super important to differentiate that the reason why you're calling is to set an appointment, and you're calling to set a time to have that conversation. So if they're interested, that's when you set up the meeting. That's where you bust out the client meeting guides, start going through that needs analysis or discovery phase. But really, like, your goal for cold calling is to set a meeting, set an appointment to speak with a decision maker that can buy your service.
Yep.
And, you know, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. You could get the business owner on and he's like, yeah, I was just thinking about this, and yeah, I got time right now. And then you can whip out the client meeting guide and start, you know, having that discovery call. That's happened to us many times where we've pretty much gone through that entire process in one phone call and even closed on that one phone call. But that's right place, right time. That's not the norm. That's the exception. So your intention as you're going through these calls is to actually just set a meeting.
Yep.
But if it happens, if they're ready to roll, if they have time, use the processes in the course, the client meeting guide, the leading questions, and I would still hold back the proposal for sure if you can, just because it makes it seem like more transactional and just, I don't know. We've gone and closed deals on one call, but at the end of the day, you want to, like, structure it out to make it seem like that proposal is a big deal and you put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's going to be an investment in their business, not just like a quick, you know, whatever purchase. But you got to feel that out. You got to go with your gut for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And if they're, like Derek said, if they're super open to it, like, don't think that just because the normal process is to set up that meeting, that's what you need to do. Like, if they're going to let you take it all the way to the house and close them as a client, like, take that thing all the way, you know. Don't think like, oh, this is, you know, the process says that the next step here is an on-site meeting to go over this. Like if they're all about it, like take it all the way. But yeah, 95% of the time it's, you cold call them, they're busy, they want to have the conversation, you schedule the next meeting and then get off the phone, and send that calendar invite, right? So it is fun when you one call close, but you'll know when, as soon as you get on the phone, you'll know when that's going to happen.
Yep.
So Michael asked about restricted industries. Like cannabis as of right now is not something that you can run ads for on Facebook, right? It's a restricted, same with CBD. There is some changes that's happening with CBD that haven't happened yet, but what we recommend in this case is, either starting a Facebook group and kind of growth hacking that Facebook group. But probably the best way is to do what's called a bridge page, where you have like a different objective. You have some lead magnet for maybe like holistic wellness or, different types. It's basically what is something that somebody who might have an interest in cannabis is also going to have an interest in, right? It's just kind of when you're looking at your targeting for any type of ad, like, okay, like for us, like, okay, Ty Lopez is somebody, what is this person that's kind of going to pre-qualify them to be interested in cannabis? Then you basically set up a bridge page where you can capture their information. And then after that, on the back end, you can start remarketing to them about the cannabis. You just can't run a cannabis ad. You can run an ad, capture their information, and then market to them through a different channel like email marketing and so on about that. There are some email platforms though, like I think MailChimp is one that have some restrictions around stuff like that. So definitely take a look at that. I know that there's plenty of email platforms that don't, but I've heard, not specifically for cannabis, but for other things, of people building their email database and then the email provider actually freezing their account and them having that asset tied up in that database. So definitely look at the terms of, the platform you're using.
Yeah, and in general, just be careful with those types of guys. We've taken on clients like that who have, their ad account had already been shut down, and then we got added to it, and it was a mess. And you want to be careful because you don't want to have your personal advertising rights restricted from Facebook just because you're associated with a cannabis deal or something like that. So.
Yep.
Email marketing, offline efforts, other platforms. Facebook's tricky for sure.
Here's a story I want to hear. So Evan asked about an upcoming seminar for a coaching business, and then
the person that got arrested. Yeah.
Man, it's unfortunate. But it kind of mirrors, the service that we provide with the course, Derek. Do you maybe want to talk about just some of the success you've had marketing for events? And I dug into this a little bit on last week's live, but maybe talk about like event-based marketing and how you can marry that with a seminar for an online coach.
Yeah, usually their best closing ratios are going to happen in person when they're, meeting, providing value, doing some sort of speech. So I'm actually working with a coach right now, and she's got a event workshop out in LA. We created the event page, the image, and we're just right in the campaign feature. You can set it to basically get people interested or say that they're going to the event. And that's your metric for success. So we've done that with coaches. We've done that with like health and wellness shops where they want to bring people in, maybe either do some physical therapy or have like a yoga session, things like that. Fitness studios, a lot of gyms that we work with, sometimes they'll go to like a neighboring park, or they'll partner up with like a brewery or a restaurant, and they'll do like a class right in the place or in the dining room, whatever. So there's a lot of things that you can do to help grow businesses, especially on a local level with event-based marketing. And Facebook just makes it so simple. You open up a campaign, you click, I think it's events, or let me find out the exact term, but it's it's pretty simple, and it basically just puts that ad, just like any other newsfeed advertisement, right in their screen, and they can, if they click into it and they start reading more, it like pings them that they're interested. And the awesome thing about event-based marketing is that if somebody says they're going or they're interested, not only is that a win for the brand, you know, right there one-to-one with that person, but then everyone that that person is connected with, they will get a notification for the most part if they're following that person actively in their feed, and they haven't like hidden notifications. It'll say, hey, your friend is interested in X event. So you were never actually targeting that person. You actually never paid to be in front of that person. But since one of their friends, it's, you know, the friends of friends of friends kind of scenario that ripples out. So that's a really cool thing about event-based marketing. And, you know, you can get in front of all these eyeballs without actually paying for it. You know, it's just, you get one person interested, now all their friends see it.
Yep.
They're interested, now all their friends see it, and it just snowballs from there. So it's a pretty inexpensive way to get people to show up in the door to something.
Yeah, and what's cool too is you can then go back and literally on those past events talk about future events or product releases or whatever, and everybody on that event page will get a notification even if that event's in the past. So you can kind of reuse those past events that you put dollars into. Oh, excuse me. And then you know, kind of get more bang for your buck and continue to do that. So like if you have one this week, you get a bunch of people, and then you do another one a month from now, you know, a week before the event, you can remind everybody that maybe didn't attend this month's one about next month's. And get those notifications out again.
And then make sure that, so whenever you create an event, like the first step is you go to the Facebook page, click on events, you create an event, you fill in the text, the time, the dates, the dollar amount, and then you put an image. So make sure that image is compliant with Facebook text rules. So it's not just like riddled with text. It needs to be 25% or less of the overall image, because that's what's going to be marketed on Facebook. You just go to Ads Manager, click Campaign Objective, turn it to Event Responses, set it up like any other ad with your detailed targeting and budget, and it's ready to roll. So definitely leverage that if you can, especially with coaches. There's going to be mainly like two to three, well, like 4 buckets you're going to be working on: retargeting anybody that's landed on the site, lead capture or lead magnets, so having some kind of download PDF that they can do in the news feed, event responses, and just overall traffic to the site, because that's what's going to fuel your retargeting.
Yep. Awesome. So yeah, any other topics you want to cover here, Derek? For those of you watching, if you have any more questions, definitely hit us, you know, with them now. Otherwise, we can kind of wrap up here.
Let's see. Roy asks, I just wanted to ask if photo ads are still the way for cold traffic, since in e-commerce, photo ads would only perform well with retargeting. I think that's making an assumption that's really not accurate. Photo ads perform well with retargeting, cold traffic, event-based marketing, anything, and you know, and that doesn't go vice versa. So like retargeting, I've had very successful campaigns just running video retargeting of somebody saying, hey, just saw you landed on the site, da da da. Like we do that for the course. Our coaches do that. Our product-based clients do that. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure about that question. I think you asked like 2 questions, one about cold calling and one about photo ads. There's definitely not a golden rule like photo ads or video ads are the only way to go. You need to test both. You need to have both in your arsenal. But I just don't want you to think that photo ads are the only way to go with retargeting. And that's just kind of what I'm assuming from your question. That's definitely not the case. Photo, video, I mean, there's like, you can't really run 3D images, but yeah, there's a ton that you can do just beyond photo ads. So I would always recommend doing video if you can, because if you run a video ad for cold traffic, number one, it's interactive. They can see the product, they can see what's going on. But then also from a retargeting perspective, not only can you retarget those clicks, but then you can actually retarget the views. So, and you can segment that audience. You can say, I want to retarget everyone that watched 50% or more of my video. You can't really do that with a photo. So there's a lot more valuable insights that happen with video. So I would say if you ever have the opportunity, use video, have that within your arsenal of ad sets.
Yep. Yeah, Ian asked a good question too that kind of piggybacks on that and just the variety of different types of ads you can run. He said, I have a question about targeting locally. Hope it makes sense. Let's say you're running ads for a car dealership and you only want to target within a 15-kilometer radius. Eventually, a few months down the line, wouldn't you have targeted everybody already in that radius? Let's say you don't want to increase the radius. How would you get even more people in the dealership? And Orion kind of jumped in on this, and it just seems like there was some confusion. So first and foremost, like showing people your client over and over and over again is basically your job as much as budget allows. If you have like a huge addressable audience, like you want to get it in front of as many as you can. But when targeting locally, I mean, why do you think, Coca-Cola, or Bud Light runs, the same ad over and over and over again for, every Monday night? It's brand recognition. You want to be you want to saturate it as much as you can, so that you're staying in front of individuals and you're consistently reminding them of your client, especially for local businesses. It's not like an online transaction where they can go, oh, I see an iPhone case I want. I'm going to buy it right now. You need to be showing them your clients so that they're thinking of it and they plan a visit, or if they forget, you show them your clients again, and then they remember to go try that restaurant, right? But that being said, you don't necessarily want to be just perpetually showing them the exact same piece of creative and copy over and over and over and over again, right? That's why, when we first started working with clients, we'd run 4 to 5 different campaigns a month. We found that we can dial that back a little bit. 4 to 5 in 30 days is pretty aggressive, but now we kind of run maybe that many at any given time, but we're not creating 4 to 5 different ones a month. But Derek, maybe you can talk about, some of the strategies that you do there in terms of different kind of variants on creative, so that we're not showing people the same thing over and over and over again, but we are having that brand recognition where we're staying in front of the prospects for their companies.
Yeah, I mean, you want to rotate. I think the golden rule is like you want to at least have a new piece of creative like every 3 weeks if you want to be extremely effective. You don't have to be that aggressive. You can definitely run like an ad a month. It just depends on like how much money the client is paying you to create those creative ads. But, if you've got a small radius, like David said, hitting them multiple times is only going to increase brand recognition. So just staying in front of them with new messaging, letting them know about new opportunities. So when they do need to buy, especially like a car dealership, you're going to be first at the top of their mind. Like, perfect example, there's a local guy here in the Twin Cities, Chris Rindall. I mean, the guy, he's got a small radius, but he is just squeezing this area. He's on billboards, he's on TV, he's on bus stops. I literally saw a plane flying by over downtown yesterday with a giant banner with his face.
Yep.
He's on buses. He would be on the if they let him be on the urinal cakes, he would be on there as well. Like, the guy
is. He's got those display ads on the TVs in front of the urinals at stadiums and stuff. I mean, the man's everywhere.
Yeah. So it's good to hit people more than once. It's good to hit them more than 10 times. It's good to hit them more than 1,000 times. I mean, it's like an ad can fatigue, and you want to look at your frequency score just so you know like how many times people have seen the same message. But like Chris Rindall, for instance, he has one creative. It's him with his arms out. That's it. Over and over and over and over. You never see it any other way. Just 2 words and his arms out.
Yep.
But
and now people recognize
if you're gonna sell your house and you need to sell it in a pinch, you're probably gonna think of that dude.
Yep. And think about this too. So like, say you get a restaurant as a client, right? And the first thing that you run is, their game day special, right? relevant because there was a Vikings game last night, right? And it's a bucket of wings for $7, right? And you run that ad. Football season ends. You're going to keep running that ad? No. You're going to try something else. There's all these different ways that you can stay in front of people. Like maybe somebody doesn't like buffalo wings, but they love cheeseburgers. Don't you want to run a cheeseburger ad? Maybe they love, buckets of Bud Light. You can run a Bud Light ad. There's so many different types of ads that you can run, and that's just a restaurant. For a local store with trinkets, there's all kinds of different ads you can run for that. For a fitness studio, you can run a 7-day challenge. You can run a boot camp. You can run a Saturday event at a brewery. You can, there's all these different things, all these different types of creative that you can do with different offers, different promotions, all kinds of different stuff. And that's kind of what Orion was talking about is in your strategy, plan for that. Plan for, there to be some fatigue so that you can, be on the same page with your client that you're going to run a bunch of different, ads. And I mean, that's something that you guys should be talking about is like, okay, what ads make sense for you? What are all the different things that we can be doing, and that's going to be a fun experience for your client to talk about all those possibilities and collaborate on that. But there's all different types of ads that you can run. And when done correctly, like Derek mentioned, the Chris Lindahl thing, at this point, it's hilarious. Like everybody knows who this guy is. He doesn't even have to have his name. And this is just some local realtor guy. I mean, I don't even have a house to sell, and I know this guy's name. And if I saw, this thing out, even without his name on it, at this point, I've seen it so many times, he's got that brand recognition. When people think of, hey, I'm going to sell my house, they're going to think of, oh, I want a guaranteed offer. I'm going to call Chris Lindahl because this guy's just been in everybody's face for pretty much a year straight at this point. Like every billboard in and out of Minneapolis has this guy's face on it. It's insane. There's memes about it. Like it's literally like a contemporary like pop culture joke at this point in Minneapolis, just because it's everywhere, and it works for him.
Yeah, there was another guy, really, what was it? That Denny Hecker guy, and he go to jail or something, but he was doing the same thing. Auto dealership guy. It's just relevant to hear commercials, TV ads, radio, anything, you name it, he's out there. I can't remember what he did. I think it was pretty bad, but
so to give you guys some idea too, like I went to the platform that our course is built on, ClickFunnels, right? I went to their major event in February of 2019 here, and they're the preeminent marketing platform. If you think of funnels, you think of ClickFunnels, right? And they're just what they do in terms of their marketing is honestly incredible in terms of all the different things that they have going at once. They've got books, they've got like ClickFunnels stuff, they got events. I mean, they've got all these different things going all the time, all these different offers, all these different products. And their VP of marketing, who manages all of their ads, and the team that runs all of them, got up at ClickFunnels, and they're running 300 different types of creative simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Like different videos. You land on one of their page, you're going to see one video, then you're going to get retargeted with another video, then you're going to get retargeted with another video. So, I mean, just for one free book, free plus shipping book, there's 7 to 8 different creatives kind of sequentially running based on like where you landed on that page and all kinds of different stuff. So, I mean, there's so many different ads that you can be running at any given time. Don't think that you just launch one ad once and that's it. That being said, though, Derek and I worked with a fitness studio in Minneapolis forever, and I mean, we just recently parted ways. They, have a lot of decisions to make in their business, but we went and created a couple of videos, and we ran those video ads pretty much in perpetuity to the local market for like the entirety of that engagement. And it was just, people kept thinking of our client because, if you were in the area, you were seeing this ad if you fit that demographic. And especially for something like a fitness studio, you might see that ad today and have no desire, it's starting to be fall, maybe you kind of given up your fitness dreams, but come December, and we show you that ad again, you're looking at New Year's, maybe you're starting to think about making that change, and all of a sudden the timing's right, so that's why you got to stay in front of, these individuals, and even though it's the same creative, that can work too. So don't be afraid of that.
Yep. Cool. I know I've got a meeting here in 15 minutes and then pretty much for like the next 2 to 3 hours. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, drop them below and we'll jump in and either address it next week, or if we have some time, we'll catch it here during the week as well.
All right, guys. Happy Friday. Everybody have a good weekend.
All right. Thanks. See ya.